happy Sunday. So I just wanted to pop on real quick and make you a quick video about kind of what is happening for us in the end of the month energetically, because this is really important. And if you follow astrology or not, you might be aware that we are tonight where we have this amazing, it's a full moon, it's a blood moon, it's a wolf moon, and then on I think the 25th is another eclipse, solar eclipse. I think I could be wrong about that, but I know there's another eclipse on the 25th. I'm not an astrologer, but there's a lot of great information here that I think is really important for us to speak, right? And you might have already been feeling this, at a deeper level, but it really makes it real when you hear someone say it, or when you can say, yeah, I have been feeling that. So this whole period, and really, January, this whole year is a time of, really stepping into being more of you. So it's not necessarily changing you at the core. It's just getting rid of all of the stories that make it so you haven't been able to show up the way you really wanted to show up as the version of you that you wanted to be, that you really would feel so comfortable being. Whether that's something in your body, with your health, with your physical appearance, with your confidence, where you are in your career, your life path or purpose, where you are with your finances, right? So we look at, where do you really, 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 really want to be? What have you been working towards the past year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? How is that feeling? And what we really, really want to pay attention to is, does that still feel like a struggle? Does it still feel like I'm never going to freaking get there? Does it still feel like your happiness is, somewhere off in the distance? When I get that body, then I can be happy. When I fix my health, then I can be happy. When I get out of here, when I get that house, when I get this paid off, when I get that money, then I can be happy. We know, if we're completely honest, that if we live that way, it's tiring, it's draining, and it seems like we really never get there, right? Or we get there maybe a little bit. we get some of the pieces, but then we cycle back to where we started, and it's like this constant chase to get something. It's like constant struggling, constant striving, and then we find that we've almost wasted time. And I don't want to say wasted time, but it's like the days all blend together, and a day turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into 6 months, turns into a year, turns into 2 years, 5 years, and you're like, wow, where did the time go? And I'm still kind of in the same place where I was before. I still feel the same. I might have moved, I might be in a different relationship, but I still feel the same, right? So this year is really about deciding and choosing to do things different, okay? And there are some things that have to happen in order for us to do things different. Because again, this year is letting go of the stories, the things that we've been telling ourselves that are limiting ourselves. And this might not be something you're consciously telling yourself, but it's like an unquestioned truth that's just been running through your system of that's just the way it is. For instance, getting that health that I want is going to be hard. Getting that body that I want to feel good in is going to be hard. Getting to that place financially is going to take a lot of work. I don't have the education to do that. I'm not young enough. I'm not fit enough. I'm not enough to do that. I'm not brave enough to do that. I don't, whatever your story is that really doesn't feel good to you. This year is really about getting rid of those stories. And I mean choosing to step out of that. Because our stories create structures around us. If you think of them creating like a matrix around us, around our energy. And it's like we have to, unconsciously, we're playing within those structures and playing within those matrices that we've created unconsciously by the stories that we've been telling ourselves, right? So this year we have to, and this is such a beautiful time to see it, because the eclipse is about, it's about seeing what we couldn't see before. It's about seeing or being present to what we maybe were not present to before, becoming aware of what was maybe hidden from us before. So I invite you this year, this month, this week, today, to really take a look at and be present with, that's the key, be present with how it is you're feeling in your life. Are you tired? If you were really to be honest with yourself, are you tired? Are you overwhelmed? Do you feel discouraged? Do you feel like you just need to stop? Do you feel like you can't stop because you're going to, get too far behind or whatever you're telling yourself? Be present with what you're feeling. And if it feels hard, and if it feels like a struggle, and if it feels unhappy, and it feels like not fun, we've got to reassess that, reevaluate that, and say, do I really want to continue living in this way? Are these things that I'm trying to go after, I'm trying to get, am I really congruent with them? How could I make this easier for myself? And there's so many little tweaks and assessments that you can make from that place if we can first just be honest with ourselves. Because what happens is when we don't feel good where we are, and we can say, I'm okay, I'm working towards where I want to be. But if we're always projecting into the future, again, that our happiness is out there, we're not being present. And if we're not present, it's because where we are and what we've got going on doesn't feel good to us. So that's when we move into our coping mechanisms, the thing that we can use to get away from pain, because the brain it's created to avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism of the brain. So your brain will say, okay, well, this doesn't feel good, so let's get a hit of dopamine. Let's go shopping. Let's go eat something. Let's go drink something. Let's go socialize. Let's go veg out in front of the TV. Let's go clean. Let's go exercise. Let's go take care of that thing outside that we've, needs our attention. Let's go do anything to avoid sitting with what we don't feel good about in our life. Right? And we don't feel good about it because there's a part of us that is unconsciously telling you you don't have a choice. Right? Oh, did you feel that hit you? That's heavy. It's untrue. That's why it's heavy. But it's heavy and it's there. So if we're constantly avoiding feeling that by going to do something else and projecting out into the future, or using positive thinking to sugarcoat, we're destined to eventually hit a wall. And maybe you feel that you're at that wall right now, right? Maybe you feel like, I'm running out of steam, I'm running out of motivation, I'm running out of energy, and I'm just really running out of everything here. That's your body saying, you need to readjust, you need to reassess, we need to do things different. It can be easier, it can be better, right? So the first step is getting present with where you are, getting honest with how you're feeling. You can say, yeah, you know what, this sucks. And then we look at what else is coming up, right? Because the only way out of that is to move through it, to be present with it, and start to do the inner work to clear it all away, to clean it up. And then make choices that align with you. Like, what could I bring into my life that I need more of? How can I take better care of myself? What can I change? What if I can take this whole puzzle of my life that I've been trying to create and working towards, this thing, this goal, this way I thought my life was supposed to be, that I've been working towards for the past 10 years, and I can just take the whole thing and throw it in the garbage and say, I'm going to start over, because that's an old way and it's draining me and it's outdated. There's got to be another way, and there is. And that's really the energy of this year. It's a whole new platform for creation. So we start by looking at what is most important to you in your life, for you to express. What are you interested in? What does your heart long for? What does your soul call for? How do you want to experience yourself? How do you want to feel in your skin, in your life? Right? And then we start building your life around those things and getting rid of all the baggage that says you can't have that, all the reasons that you've accumulated through your life that are stopping you from having that right now. Because if it's always off in the future, it's always going to be in the future, right? So we look at, how can we have it now? How can we be that now? How can we bring more into that, into your life now, so that every single moment of your life is joyful and it's fun. You're not always just trying to get through the day to get to that that time way out there when you get that thing so that you can be happy. It doesn't work. It's old. It's an old paradigm. So let's give yourself permission to just kind of throw that whole piece, that whole creation into the garbage and just start over again. Start over again. Start with what's right in here. You have to get present with where you are in order to move beyond it, right? If you're trying to go somewhere and get directions, you have to know where you are. You have to know exactly where you are. Otherwise, you'll be driving around aimlessly, right? So I wanted to share that with you today because it's really important. And again, you might have already been feeling it, but that's really what's happening in this whole eclipse phase, in this month, in this year. It's about new creation. It's about more of you, the way you really want it to be, showing up into the world to create from what your heart longs for, what it just wants to create out of pure joy. So not out of needing to prove something to somebody, or to show up a certain way, or to fit in, or to be status quo, but really creating because it's what your heart, your individual heart wants to create, right? The pure creation, just like a child creates out of pure, just longing to create something, being inspired to create something, whatever that is for you. That's really the energy of this year. So I invite you to do a little self-reflection, do a little inquiry. So I am offering a body workshop, a webinar, free webinar on the 25th, which is this Friday. So if you want to sign up for that, again, there's no charge. There's a link down below here, I think, or up above, depending where you're catching this video. We're going to be talking about why we perpetuate bad habits, why we perpetuate where we have health issues and weight issues, and we'll even talk about chronic, just stuck life issues, because the root underneath all of that is really all the same. So until we deal with that root, we're always pushed into a coping mechanism simply to avoid what we're feeling inside. We're avoiding the truth, or what we think is the truth of where we are, right? But we can change all that, because the truth, if it's heavy, if it doesn't feel good, if it puts a knot in your stomach or a sinking feeling in your body, it means that it's not true, right? Truth is light. It feels good. So what stories have you been telling yourself that feel heavy? And what stories could you tell yourself that feel lighter, that it can be easier? That you can bring more of what you love into your life now. Getting rid of the story of, I have to wait until I have this in place, and then I'll let myself do that, or have that, experience that, make that shift, So just think about all that. Anybody, any feedback here on the feed, any questions, please reach out, and I hope you all have a good day. Stay warm. If you're in New England, stay warm, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.